When I supported my boyfriend through college, he turned around and became someone else's backup. He said she's wealthy, that the watch she gave him costs $300,000. But all I have to offer is a cheap heart full of love. However, the watch she gave him seems like something my uncle wouldn't want. The tie clip I gave him was treated as worthless. It's a masterpiece design, natural blue diamond, worth millions. On Valentine's Day, Eric had a delivery person bring me a music box made of crystal. I opened it and saw a card that read, "Wishing Mandy eternal happiness, worry-free, love you forever." My name is not Mandy, it's Cherry. He must have gotten the gift wrong, how careless of him. Today I was going to ask him to spend Valentine's together, but he said there was an experiment in his class at school. I didn't say much after that. Now that the gift is wrong, I had a reason to go see him, right? It's nice to see him in person. When I went to the school to find him, I saw him at the school gate with a girl, chatting and laughing whilst he supposed to be doing an experiment and dressed so fancy, it seemed like he even sprayed on the Armani perfume I gave him. I shouted out his name, Eric. The moment Eric saw me, his face changed drastically. The girl next to him asked him, "Who's this? Your girlfriend?" He explained to the girl in a gentle and smiling voice, "No, she's just a neighbor girl, maybe she needs something from me. I'll be back in a moment, Cherry, wait here for me." Neighbor girl? He came over to me, pulled me aside a bit, with a stern face, asked impatiently, "Why did you come to my school? I told you not to come here unless it's necessary." The way he treated me so differently made me feel a sour nose instantly. I took out the crystal music box. "You got the gift wrong, the card inside says Mandy, I brought it so you could exchange it." He took a quick glance, impatiently said, "I bought this online for $9, it's not wrong, just throw away the card. Do you have something else you want?" I glanced at the girl standing at the school gate, clenching my hands. Who is that girl? Why did she say I'm your neighbor's little sister? You suddenly came running over, I wasn't prepared. You questioned me like crazy when I was having dinner with my classmates. We have things to discuss. You won't understand even if I said it now, wait for me to come back home. After saying impatiently, he turned and walked towards the girl named Emily. Classmates? Leaving your girlfriend on Valentine's Day to have dinner with classmates. That night, I sat at home eating tasteless food, and saw Eric's social media posts. Candlelit dinner and a photo with that girl. It was so obvious, I pretty much understood what he meant. He wants to break up. I didn't know when he changed. We met in high school. Back then, he loved teasing me, then afterward he loved bringing me breakfast, and he confessed to me after graduation he said his family wasn't well off, his mother was sick. Even if he got into a good college, he wouldn't be able to go. He wanted to earn money first for our future together. I told him to focus on his studies, I'd find a way to pay for his education. My family's situation was decent, I gave him all the savings from years of Chinese New Year money and summer job earnings. I supported him through college, envisioning our future together, and he ended up being someone else's backup. When Eric came back, the food on my table had gone cold, just like my heart. You're back. I spent the whole night regulating my emotions so when I faced him, I wouldn't lose control. He took off his slippers and replied, "We can talk now, what happened today? Who is that Emily girl to you? On Valentine's Day, you left me and went to dinner with her. And the fact that the gift in your mind is worth only $9 when I said it, my voice still trembled. We've known each other for 5 years, been together for 2 years, I treated him sincerely. In the end, he considered me worth $9 in his heart, second-hand goods. I don't care about the money, but being poor is different from being negligent." He walked over to me, placed a watch in front of me. "Do you know how much this watch costs?" "Vacheron Constantine, around 300,000, how long do you have to work to afford it?" "This was given to me by Emily, what about you?" "Just gave me a tie clip, clearly cheap, only worth a few bucks." "Don't act so wronged." I glanced at the watch on the table, it seemed familiar. It looked like my uncle's, but the surface seemed new. Maybe it's a coincidence, after all, this isn't a limited edition. So you want to break up with me? Yes, Emily is wealthier, casually giving a gift worth 300,000. I naturally choose her. Besides your cheap love, what else can you offer me? After hearing him say that, I found it laughable. How could I have thought he was smart, handsome, and ambitious before? It was all a facade. Since you put it that way, I don't want a man like you. I coldly smiled at him. Give me back the tie clip, we're breaking up. He hesitated for a moment and took out the tie clip, placing it on the table. It's fine that you can let go without a fight, then our relationship wouldn't look so ugly. I looked at the tie clip on the table. He didn't know this tie clip was priced at 1 million. It was a masterpiece design, with real diamonds, rare natural blue diamonds. Now you can leave, after all, I'm the one who rented this apartment. Eric walked out without hesitation. When he reached the door, I called out to him. He thought I wanted him to stay, turned back and looked at me disdainfully. Regretting it? If you don't mind, we can talk in private. I can't take it anymore, I cut off his words. That's enough, I won't bring up other money from these years, but you need to pay back the tuition fees. His face changed, then he scornfully said, all right, when Emily and I are together, she won't care about such a small amount. He didn't know what he had missed. I was supposed to tell him some good news today. Our family used to own a luxury brand. But my dad was worried that I would be deceived, so he kept it a secret from me, just making me feel like we weren't poor. Now that I'm over 20, he finally told me the truth and asked me to start working at our company for an internship. It's time for me to step up and take on more responsibilities. At first, I thought my dad had lost his mind, going crazy about money. But on regular days, he didn't seem like a money-minded person. It wasn't until he showed me a lot of property deeds and luxury goods certificates that I believed him. I also felt my dad was too suspicious. People's hearts are not ancient. Some people really would give up love for money. On the weekend, on my first day at work, Eric and Emily came to our family's luxury store. Eric, did you like the watch I gave you yesterday? Yes. Shouldn't there be a tit-for-tat gesture? I saw a quick change in Eric's expression when I said that, but he quickly restrained himself. Of course. I realized he had never given me anything when we were together. I understand that he doesn't have money. Now he's bringing another woman to shop at a luxury store. I stood aside, quietly observing. The store manager warmly approached them. Emily, nice to see you again. What would you like to see this time? Seeing the manager greeting her so warmly and even calling her by name, it seemed like Emily was a frequent visitor to this luxury store. Looks like she might really be a rich second generation. Did Eric hook a big fish? I want to see if there's a women's watch that suits me. Emily compared her wrist and then noticed me. She pointed at me with a fake smile, turned to Eric and said, Eric, isn't that your neighbor's little sister? She's also working here, let's help her make some sales. The store manager heard her call my name, her expression turned unpleasant and called me over. A customer is calling you, why are you so slow? You're like a wooden stake, don't even know who hired you. The store's wages are related to the sales of luxury goods, so the store manager probably thought I was taking away her sales. I wasn't really interested in greeting this couple, but since she singled me out, I professionally smiled and approached them. What would you like to see? She paced back and forth in front of the counter, stopped in front of a Cartier women's watch priced at over 16,000. Eric, how do you like this one? Does it match me? I saw Eric's face darken quite a bit, but he still forced a smile. Your hands are so fair, your wrists are slender, anything would look good on you. Surprisingly, he was willing to buy a $16,000 watch. She glanced at my name tag, raised her chin arrogantly, and said, Cherry, bring this one out for me to see. I reached out and took out the Cartier women's watch and handed it to her. Suddenly, the watch dropped to the ground. The whole store fell silent. I clearly handed it to her and she was about to receive it. But after I let go, she also let go. Cherry, why are you so careless? This watch is not cheap. Emily preemptively shouted at me, her eyes full of schadenfreude. When Eric saw the watch fall, he seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. I glanced at the in-store CCTV. I didn't do anything wrong. I clearly placed the watch in her hand, but she intentionally let go. We can check the footage. However, Emily remained calm, smiling. Let's check the footage then. The CCTV was broken yesterday, and they arranged for someone to fix it this afternoon, but the repairman hasn't arrived yet. The store manager, with a cold expression, looked at me and spoke sternly. I've told you before, these luxury items are expensive. When showing customers, you shouldn't hand it over directly. They should be placed on the counter for customers to pick up themselves. That's to prevent such incidents. Now that you've broken the watch, you have to compensate for it. The customer is always right. And why would they wrongly accuse you? Also, how can they make things difficult for you? Cherry, when you make a mistake, you have to face the consequences. If you break something while in possession of it, you have to pay for it. That's the rule. You never told me that I couldn't handle luxury items myself, I retorted, looking at the store manager, who got even darker in her face, her eyes full of disdain. How dare a person like you not take responsibility for your mistakes and try to shift blame? Now you have to compensate for the watch. We can't tolerate an employee like you. Emily sighed and said to the store manager, since the watch is now broken, she can only compensate. See if you can give her a discount. The price is not easy for an ordinary family. I was disgusted by her hypocritical appearance. Eric, upon hearing me being labeled as greedy, immediately became unhappy. Why are you so ungrateful? Emily is speaking up for you. Even if you can't compensate, you shouldn't disrespect her this way. This time, I admitted my mistake. But to say that I can't afford it? This store is owned by my family. Even if I smash all the watches in this store, it's fine. Emily couldn't help but laugh at my words mockingly. You're so full of yourself. The store manager grabbed my hand and spoke in a harsh tone. If you can talk big, then pay up then. I shook off the store manager's hand and texted my dad. Dad, I accidentally dropped the $16,000 Cartier watch in the store. Now the store manager is asking me to compensate. Cherry, if you make a mistake, you have to pay for it, deducted from your salary. My dad really wasn't showing much concern. I immediately explained the whole situation to my dad. Dad, I told him through the messages that he come to support me. Something is wrong today. Even if I smash the shop, Dad wouldn't blame me. There's no reason for you to be mistreated in your own shop. I put down my phone and waited while staring at them. Call someone, make her pay today. My dad soon arrived. Perhaps in his haste, he was wearing flip-flops, an old shirt, and a pair of freshly washed shorts. He walked up to me and asked, "Who asked you to compensate?" I raised my chin towards the store manager, indicating her. She didn't teach me properly and didn't tell me that I shouldn't directly hand luxury items to customers. I admit this time. But she grasped my hand so hard, made it red, and wanted to kick me out. When the store manager glanced at my dad, her confidence surged, and her disdainful expression was evident. Do you think calling an old man like you will make a difference? My dad, being looked down upon by his own employees in his own store, couldn't be deceiving me. This isn't his store. I asked, Dad, isn't this your store? As soon as I spoke, my dad still hadn't responded. Eric shamelessly interrupted. Cherry, what's the deal with your family? Claiming that the most luxurious luxury store in the city belongs to your family. Are you trying to provoke me after our breakup? Seems like you're delusional. My dad looked at him with disgust and said to Cherry, Speak to me, what's with this guy barking around here? Who is he? I can tell you're not a good person. Then my dad approached reassuringly, patting my hand, and explained, This is not how we usually are at home. I'm used to wearing these clothes all the time. I have a professional manager to run the store. I rarely show up. Just need to check the business regularly. I have more time to spend with your mom. The store manager seemed to find it amusing. He continued to act, trying to make it look like it was true. Sir, just settle the money, then everything will be fine. If the police get involved, it won't look good. Eric was silent now, probably scared by my dad's shouting. Usually, my dad's attitude towards him is friendly. With that said, the store manager actually took out his phone and said to us, "If you don't settle the money today, I will call the police. Make your choice." My dad remained calm and said nonchalantly, then he took out his own phone and called someone named Mike. Seeing my dad make the call, the store manager stopped reaching for his phone, putting it back in his pocket. Let's see what tricks the father and daughter are up to. Soon, my dad's call was answered. I overheard him asking the person on the other end to come to the store. After hanging up, my dad said, "No matter how many people you call, the money has to be settled." He put away his phone, then looked at the store manager. "What's your name?" "Can't you read it yourself? It's on my work badge," the store manager responded. My dad glanced at it, then stepped aside. "Lily, I hope you can still talk to me in that tone later. Rest assured, I'll make sure it happens." Eric and Emily showed no intention of leaving, clearly waiting to see what would happen next. After about 10 minutes, a man dressed in a suit, looking handsome with golden-rimmed glasses, walked in through the glass door. Upon seeing the new arrival, Lily respectfully greeted him. "Mike, why do you have time to come to the store today? Have a seat and rest, it's hot outside." Mike nodded in response, his eyes focused, then he walked up to my dad, talking with respect but not subservience. "Boss, why did you come to the store in person today? Are you unsure about the recent performance?" The moment Mike called my dad boss, everyone present was stunned. Lily even stuttered in response. "Mike, are you mistaking the person? The boss of our company is not this person." Mike looked at Lily with a look of oppression in his eyes. "It's up to me to decide who I'm talking to. The one usually seen here is his younger brother, helping to manage the store." Upon hearing this, Lily's legs gave in, and she fell to the ground, landing on a Cartier watch, causing her pain. Looking down on her, I said, "This was a matter I could have handled on my own. I admit it wasn't handled professionally, and I'm willing to take responsibility. You never properly trained me, yet you push all the blame on me." Lily looked at me, bewildered. "I didn't know you were the daughter of the board director," I said sternly. "If I wasn't, I deserve to take the fall. Why do you judge people so unfairly? Is this how you usually treat customers at the store?" "Not anymore. I think your time here is over, you're fired." Lily turned pale. "Please, I have credit card bills, rent, utilities to pay, a whole family relying on my salary. Can you not fire me?" I turned to Mike. "Since you manage this store, handle her according to the store rules, so that no one can accuse me of abusing power." Seeing my gaze, Mike seemed to understand and said, "We do need a new store manager. Some employees have already reported issues with you before. If you keep insisting, we'll have to ask you to leave. Now, go initiate the resignation procedure at the HR office while you can." A real leader, balancing firmness and generosity. Lily shamefully got up from the ground and left. Emily and Eric stood frozen in place. Eric's expressions were changing rapidly, unsure what to make of the situation. I'm sure he believed he had missed a potential opportunity to marry into a wealthy family. But with Emily there, he couldn't react harshly. Emily quickly regained her composure and said, "Now that things are clear, we'll leave." I knew there was no surveillance footage this time, so I had to let it go. But how did Emily stay so composed, knowing the cameras were not working? There was definitely a problem there. After they left, my dad asked me, "Do you want Dad to step in and teach them a lesson?" I looked at my dad with interest. "How do you want to help?" My dad scratched his chin and smiled. "Hire a few tough guys, show up in masks on a dark night, beat them up a bit. Then take photos of them, write up their stories. Pay to get it on the front page of newspapers, all over the internet. Dad, it's a harmonious society now, let's not go that far. I'll handle it. If I really can't, I'll remember to come to you. They dare treat my daughter like this, they'll regret it. Let's go, Mike, let's talk in the office." "Since you came to the store today," my dad said. I started questioning the other employees in the store about Emily's visits to our luxury store. The person who showed up most frequently turned out to be my uncle. He had just brought in a watch to get the face replaced a few days ago. He often brings in second-hand luxury items for recycling. As I looked at the familiar watch, I checked the model for repair and compared it to the replaced face. There was a small black spot on it, not affecting its use, exactly like the one my uncle previously had. It was indeed his. It turned out Eric broke up with me over a refurbished watch. And the connection between this Emily and my uncle was quite intriguing. Looks like I could ask him to spill the beans. Our school held a friendly sports competition with another school. Our school was matched against Emily's school. I could really give her a big surprise when the time comes. When we arrived at the competition venue, Eric was there too. Every now and then, his eyes glanced towards me, making me extremely uncomfortable. When our group was standing together, Eric leaned over and quietly whispered, "Cherry." I told him not to call me that since we're not that close, considering there might be 10 kilometers between my house and his. Eric was momentarily speechless after my retort. He suppressed his displeasure and tried to smile at me. Jealous? That day, I didn't mean to break up with you. After all these years of feelings, how could I bear to do it? I truly only love you in my heart. You just can't bear to lose my money, right? Thank goodness I saw his true colors. Otherwise, who knows if he would try to cheat me in the future. I was really disgusted. How did I ever find his face attractive before? Now, it just looks so ugly. I was just thinking of keeping him away from me when I heard Emily's voice. Eric, what secrets are you whispering to your neighbor's sister? The game is about to start. Eric nodded at her. I'll find you after the game is over. Then he walked over to his classmates. I overheard people in his class praising them as a perfect couple, meant to be together. We were supposed to compete in rugby against each other. I was leading my team on my side. Emily was on the opposite side. In the first half of the game, we were evenly matched, ending in a draw. After a 10-minute halftime break, the game resumed. The second half was intense. With time running out, my friend Anna got the ball and was about to pass it to me when Emily tripped her. Anna fell forward under the intense impact, leaving marks on her face and a clear sound from her foot. Anna! Everyone from our side shouted anxiously and rushed towards her. Surprisingly, Emily had the nerve to run over and reach out a hand towards Anna. Don't touch her, I immediately yelled at her. She looked innocent, saying she just wanted to help Anna up and check if she was okay. I squatted down, asking Anna where it hurt, checking if she was still conscious. She told me her face hurt a bit, and her left leg was particularly painful. I comforted her and told her to let the doctor handle it and quickly call an ambulance. Then, I looked up sternly at Emily. Are you so ignorant that you don't even know not to move an injured person? Emily, do you lack this basic common sense? I'm sorry, Emily bit her lip, looking at me with a hint of grievance. But I clearly saw she deliberately tripped Anna, and now she's pretending to be kind. However, when her classmates saw her like that, they all spoke up. Don't be so harsh, Emily didn't mean to do it. She was just trying to help. Stop being so aggressive, why are you so unrelenting? Our classmates immediately retorted, you've injured someone, shouting louder than us, saying we're arrogant and unruly. Your teacher must have taught you like this. I see you guys are out of control. A light apology won't resolve everything. But upon hearing about Anna's injury, my tone softened. We didn't mean it. Accidents can happen in a game, our class will share the medical expenses. I kept my eyes fixed on Emily, who was still pretending to be innocent. What if she did it on purpose? Don't just talk without evidence. None of us saw it, and even the referee didn't say anything. You're the only one saying this. Cherry, don't be biased against me just because you're interested in Eric. After Emily's words, people around us began to doubt my words. Even though I rarely appeared at Eric's school, I had visited him once or twice. The situation on the field was chaotic at the time, and perhaps others didn't see clearly. But because I was focused on Anna, I clearly saw Emily deliberately tripping her. I smirked and said, what if I have evidence? Emily's face briefly showed panic, then quickly pretended to be indignant, saying, if you have evidence, show it. Don't intimidate people here, I didn't do anything. I accidentally bumped into her, that's all. Wait. I called out to the audience, Bob, bring the drone down for me. It should have captured everything clearly. My uncle stood up from the corner of the audience seats. When Emily saw my uncle, her face turned pale. Later that day, I showed my uncle the photo of Emily. He said this girl was his girlfriend, obedient and sweet, and suggested introducing us to each other someday. His tone was quite affectionate. My uncle had been divorced for a few years, and he must have thought he found true love. I then looked at the watch on his wrist and asked him why he replaced the Vacheron Constantin with a Rolex. Uncle said he dropped the watch on the floor that day and thought about putting it in the shop for repair and then selling it cheap. When his girlfriend asked for it, he gave it to her. I couldn't help but ask Uncle, isn't it strange for a woman to want a men's watch? Uncle said Emily claimed it was for her dad, and she had always wanted to buy a watch but couldn't afford it because it was too expensive. The watch looked new except for a few spots, could be fixed by changing the surface. Uncle thought about how much money he could sell it for to her. But Uncle didn't want her money, he just gave her the watch and even transferred a large sum of money to her. Little did he know she didn't give the watch to her dad, but to Eric. Seeing her leading a man into the shop behind her, she was probably trying to scam Eric again. Uncle suddenly remembered to ask me how there were pictures of Emily. I told him about her stealing my ex-boyfriend, but he didn't believe me, saying I must have misunderstood. Knowing about today's match, I deliberately asked Uncle to bring the drone with him. I wanted to record the match as a souvenir. I just wanted Uncle to see Emily's true colors. But the match didn't go smoothly. Uncle didn't show up in the first half, but he had arranged for someone to operate the drone for filming. During halftime, he messaged me, saying he had arrived and to find a corner to sit in. He said his girlfriend was also there, without informing him, so he thought this would be a nice surprise for Emily later. Emily probably wouldn't be pleasantly surprised now. Uncle walked down from the stands with a grim expression. During halftime, Emily seemed to deliberately try to upset me by having Eric hand her water and holding hands. Emily gazed at my uncle in surprise and asked, Bob, what are you doing here? Uncle clearly didn't want to respond and handed me the drone with a stern face. Uncle came to watch my match and planned to record it. He didn't expect some people to be so shameless, doing evil things and not owning up to them. I took the drone from Uncle and connected it to my phone. I played back the footage we just filmed. The beginning of the footage was actually quite good, showing students praising Eric and Emily as a perfect match. Emily looked affectionate and shy. Uncle's face got darker and darker, almost dripping with darkness. To prevent his blood pressure from shooting up, I rewound the footage. I rewound it to where Anna was about to pass the ball. I slowed down the footage. Soon, it became clear that Emily maliciously tripped Anna while she was running toward me. Her foot deliberately caught Anna's, causing her to fall forward. I put down the phone and looked at those who defended her earlier. Did you all see clearly now? She did it intentionally. Stop making excuses for her, saying it was an accident. Those who had defended Emily earlier now looked at her in a different light. They frowned, and then one by one expressed disdain. Emily, you pretend to be delicate and kind, but it's all a show. Tripping someone like that was malicious, you were out for blood. Such people are terrifying, yet Emily still had on an innocent face. Seeing the situation, Emily's eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean to, it was just a moment of desperation to help our class win the game. Her classmates were even more furious. We can handle losing, but your dirty tricks make us lose face. If we lose with dignity. What you did today shamed our entire school. Finally, our school won the game, and I stood on the podium with my classmates for the award ceremony. I watched as people pointed and whispered about Emily below. Meanwhile, Eric didn't even say a word to defend her. As the game ended, I followed Uncle out of the venue, ready to head to my own Maybach. Emily chased after us and grabbed Uncle's hand. Bob, why are you leaving so soon? We haven't even talked yet. Her classmates and others were also coming out. They all quickly looked at Eric, then started whispering. Isn't Emily your girlfriend? Why is she holding another man's hand? That man could be her dad. with the way she flaunts expensive stuff and claims her family buys it for her. Have you ever seen someone who doesn't address their father directly by name but as a sugar daddy? She's that kind of person, acting high class and wealthy. I feel sorry for Uncle. He thought he was in a relationship, but she just sees him as a sugar daddy. Uncle immediately pulled his hand away from Emily with disgust. You stole my niece's boyfriend. She told me everything, and I believed you. After all the disgusting things you did today, how dare you come after me, Uncle said. Emily, in tears, insisted, no, he pursued me first. He also kept asking me out. I was just confused for a moment. I really love you. People around started laughing at Eric for not even measuring up to Uncle, a 40-year-old, and being rejected even as a bootlicker. Eric couldn't take it and mockingly said to Emily, you pursued me, you were the one who gave me a watch. You were always after May had a girlfriend, but it's because of you, you awful person. Feeling hurt, Emily slapped Eric and retorted, you call me names, yet look at yourself. Either wanting to be a wealthy son-in-law or being a lapdog. What's the use of just a pretty face, all talk and no substance? Bob is even better than you. Eric was about to fight back immediately when he was hit, but their classmates helped stop him. I couldn't bear to watch. Bob, let's go check on Anna at the hospital, I said. My uncle got in the car right away, probably tired of being stared at and talked about by a group of people. At the hospital, we found out Anna had a minor facial abrasion that could be treated without scarring. Her left ankle was fractured, had surgery to fix it, and just needed time to recover. I chatted with her for a while and handed over the drone footage to Anna, leaving it up to her to decide whether to press charges. On our way back, we saw Eric standing in front of my house with scratches all over his face. As soon as he saw me, he approached. Cherry, you're back. How is Anna? He asked. She's fine now, I replied, trying to walk past him. He grabbed my hand. Cherry, you brought your uncle here today so I could see Emily's true colors, right? I've already broken up with her. Can we get back together? I pulled my hand away, looking at him mockingly. Eric, try getting down on your knees. Maybe then I'll forgive you. To my surprise, Eric actually knelt down. Cherry, I was wrong. I only love you. Please forgive me, he pleaded. Listen, there's no way I'll forgive you. Our relationship now is that you owe me money, and you'll pay up. Otherwise, I have all the bank transfer records and IOUs. Don't make me take legal action against you. I don't care about the money, but I won't let trash like him off the hook. Thanks to my dad, he always said to settle accounts clearly with family. Casually giving gifts and meals is fine, but for large sums, there should be an IOU. I thought the money would be shared in the future since we were in a relationship. I wouldn't actually make him pay, just for my dad's peace of mind. After hearing my words, he looked displeased, stood up as if he was about to strike again. I twisted my wrist a bit, saying, don't forget, I've learned Taekwondo. I'm not Emily. Don't come to my house in the future. If my dad or uncle sees you, you'll regret it even more. Then I walked past him, entered the house, and slammed the door shut. In the end, Anna didn't sue Emily but demanded a public apology from her. Emily was given a warning by the school and eventually dropped out voluntarily shortly after. Her reputation had spread to several schools, and she couldn't face staying in the city any longer. After graduating, I started working as a manager in my own luxury store. During a business discussion, I recognized the valet parking attendant. It was Eric. Cherry, do you know that valet parking guy? He seems to have offended Bob and got blacklisted. Many companies are turning him away. A promising college student can only wash cars and park them here, my business associate said. My uncle really did a number on him. Thought he could get away with it like that. Turns out, he's tougher than me when it comes to getting things done, I thought to myself. I don't know him, I said before getting into the car and driving off into the future. My new life was just beginning, and from now on, the sky's the limit, and we won't meet again.